Hey, mate.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. All right, and welcome everyone to another business to business webinar. Now, this morning we had planned to have Tom Potter joining us to talk about franchising. And for those of you who have come on expecting that, I apologise. Tom has been called away to other things and will be joining us in 2 weeks' time. One of the things that happened last night, for those that didn't make it to the Entrepreneur Series online, I was talking to Nikki Christensen and we were discussing the challenges that entrepreneurs are facing during COVID. And so one of the things that came up really was to understand your industry and then to apply the skills and knowledge that you have acquired. But what happens if you know your industry, but you need more skills? And I thought with Tom not being available, this would be a great opportunity to fill in with some skills. So this is the webinar series that we've had so far. You can see we've started very early with the why of your business. We did cash flow, digital marketing, and business systems. We did a Facebook deep dive. We've talked about hiring staff, managing staff, the power of culture, what it means to have a home-based business, and branding, work-life fusion. We had a live meeting with Shannon Fenderman, which was really cool. So she filled us in on all the details of what's going on in the state government and all of the things that we could expect. That was our first face-to-face meeting since COVID began. Last week we had Terry Skeen talking about starting your own business, and really the focus of that one was not just starting your own business, but starting your own business in Logan. I'm your MC and president of the Logan Chamber of Commerce, Stuart Fleming. Remember that toilets are where you left them. If you've got a cup of tea, enjoy it. There are no fire emergency exits from a Zoom webinar. Just run out of the building if you catch fire. But what I would like to do is introduce Vu Tran. So when COVID hit, and I'm going to stop that share there because you can all see what's coming up. There we go. When COVID hit, we did notice that there was a great crying out from those in industries that were the hardest hit. Specifically, I had a guy from the events industry tell me that he'd lost a couple of friends already to suicide. This was quite like a month in, and the reason that the thing that he was crying out for was there needs to be more education. I need another way to make money. I need something else, because I can't rely that the events industry is coming back, and we don't see it ever coming back to the way it was now. And so I reached out to state government, and they said, well, we'll try and talk to TAFE. But then in Logan, we are blessed to have Go One. And I reached out to Vu and I said, look, this is the challenge that we're facing. I really feel for this guy. He doesn't have an option because he doesn't have any other skills. And in true Logan style, Vu didn't just do it a little bit, he did it a lot. So this is really exciting. I'm really, really excited about this, because it really, the ability to have more skills is really hope. This is what we get down to. It comes down to hope. And I'm going to throw it over to Vu. Like, man, you're one of my heroes, dude. This was such a huge win. So take us through. You're on mute, but take us through where this came from. Like, I think you'd already been working on this before I even spoke to you.
Look, but Stu, and what I want to do say is that, Stuart, you're the catalyst to really accelerate this, though, because you brought that story to mind. It was one of many projects that I was working on at the time, and this was just when COVID hit. And to give everyone a bit of background, morning everybody, my name's Vu. I'm one of the co-founders of GoOne.com. We're a very proudly Logan founded and headquartered company right here in Underwood. As Stu mentioned, though, Stu brought that story to me very early on during COVID, and it made me really push harder to be able to get this project up and running. And very proud to say that earlier this year in June, we did launch this at the start of June. And what is it? And I'll walk everyone through it in a tick, but I guess coming back to that why that you spoke about at the start, for us, to give you a bit of background on Go One, in typical startup style, think of us as the Netflix for learning. What we do is we bring together courses from providers all over the world, and we're focused on B2B training. So we train everyone from Australia's big four banks through to Delta Airlines in the US, through to retail brands like R.M. Williams here in Australia. We train some of Australia and indeed the world's largest companies, and we provide this training to their employees on a whole bunch of different topics. But what really got us thinking was sitting there going, why can't, we're geared up towards training large businesses and large enterprise. Small business is disadvantaged because they don't get out. If you choose to start a small business, or if you choose to work for a small business even, you're not going to get access to the same type of training that these companies are purchasing for their staff or for themselves. And so what we did was we actually sat down and Stu, you know, you, as I said, that conversation, that story you mentioned is a real catalyst to really get it going. We sat down with government and we actually said, look, let's put something together where we can actually help people develop skills, and particularly small business owners, because very few of us will actually put time on. You know, I'm a small business owner as well. We're probably a bigger business than we were 2 years ago, but at the end of the day, I know how little time we put aside for our own learning and our own training. So what we decided to do instead was to sit there and go, well, if you can't be productive during COVID-19 through running your business, for, you know, the environmental factors are in play, how do you maintain some form of productivity? So what we did instead was we put in case what we call an earn or learn mentality, right? I can't grow my business during COVID-19. How do I grow my skills so that I come out of this with more knowledge, more skills, or something that I didn't have going into COVID-19? And so that's where kind of all of this sort of spurred. And so what I might do, Stuart, is it okay if I share my screen?
100%. Let me just make sure I've turned that on.
So in June of this year, we launched a project with Queensland Government to make training available, almost 500 courses available to every single small business with less than 20 staff in the state. What does that mean? Well, if you're a small business that's ABN registered and you're here in Queensland, you'll get access to over 500 just under 500 courses for you to be able to upskill yourself as a small business owner. And in terms of what the Logan Chamber of Commerce has been covering over the last few weeks, I think it very much aligns with the training that's being provided. So it's been broken up into 4 key areas: foundation business skills, sales, finance, business development, understanding HR, leading a successful business, so building and growing teams, developing leadership, personal health and well-being as founders and as business owners, making sure that we're actually looking after ourselves properly and making sure that we are investing in our own personal well-being is so important. Connecting business and customer. So, you know, again, those topics that you mentioned before, Stuart, of customer service, negotiating skills, digital marketing and advertising skills. And then obviously digital skills, office IT skills, business systems, and even cybersecurity are really important. So what does all this mean? If you go to www.qldskills.com.au, you'll be able to sign up today for yourself to be able to do training on hundreds of courses on these topics absolutely for free. Once you actually create an account, what you'll be able to do is log in, and this is what you will see. You'll see the Small Business Skills Hub. So you can see here I'm logged in as myself at the moment. And what you'll be able to access is courses under each of these topics. So say, for example, I want to go to connecting business and customer. I can jump in there and I can get a 2-hour introduction to digital marketing through to things like customer service skills as a short course. But more importantly, what we're doing is we're also seeing people come back to us and go, well, actually, I want to see courses on X, Y, or Z. And so by getting feedback from small businesses and bodies like Chamber of Commerce, you know, as an example, we had a lot of people come to us and say, we use Xero. Can we add some courses around Xero? And so guess what we did? We added some courses around Xero. So now you actually have a 15-hour certificate in Xero in there that allows small business owners to be able to go in there and do training on a topic like Xero as part of their accounting package. I'll take a step back though. It's not just about small business owners and providing them access to hundreds of free courses. We're also acutely aware that lots of small businesses actually have employees as well. So as part of what happens if you've got an account here, is if you click on this button here, you've actually got the ability to launch your own free business portal to deliver training to your staff. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to do right now. So if you click right here on this button, it'll take you across to the sign up form to launch your own portal. What I'll be able to do is and what Stuart, you're going to own a bakery now, mate. So I'm going to say Stuart's Bakery. All right.
Nice. I've always wanted to have a bakery.
There you go. So you'll be able to go to stewarts-bakery.mygo1.com. You're in Australia, and let's say you're in the food, accommodation and food services. We'll create a portal there for you. And guys, you don't have to be technical because guess what? We've just set up, and if you look at the URL here, stewartsbakery.mygo1.com. This portal is dedicated to Stuart's business. No one else can access it. No one else can use it. So Stuart can actually start inviting his staff to access training right now. So this is purely for his business, for your business. So I'm just giving you I'm aware of time, so I'm just giving you a quick run through at the moment, but you'll get support through the bubble here to be able to learn, if you need help on doing anything. There's start articles here to get started and run your own portal. But the most important thing for me, I guess, is from the QRD Skills website, you'll be able to log in and join this portal here, which will give you access to skills that are focused only on small business owners. You'll also be able to launch your own portal from here, from down the bottom here, where you can see we've set up Stu's Bakery here as well. And that's all part of being able to provide small businesses access to training, not just for themselves, but for their staff members as well. I'm just going to pause for a minute there and go, are there any questions? Or Stu, do you have any questions? Does anyone from the audience have questions?
This is amazing. So when this first went live, I went back to that gentleman and I showed it to him, and yeah, he jumped straight in and he's been going. And I haven't seen him on the call. I did tell him that we were going to be talking about him this morning, and I thought he might have jumped on, but I don't see him there. But when we first jumped on, I don't think that you had the training hub for businesses there, the learning portal.
Yeah.
When was that added, and have you seen a big uptake in that, or is that just really super new?
So that's relatively new. You're 100% right. We haven't seen a massive uptake because I don't think people are aware of it. That's why I'm doing the call with you today. You're getting a free training portal, and within this, so Stu's Bakery portal here, what I'll be able to do is I will be able to add my own courses that are only visible to my staff. And so I just did a call with the South Burnett just before this call. And, one of the people owns a kitchen manufacturing factory. And she said, oh, well, I've got my own OHS videos and onboarding videos that I've created. And I said, great. Guess what? You can go in here, click administer, and start creating a course straight away. And you can add that course and it's only visible to your staff members. And as an example, Stu, let's say, for example, you want everyone in your team to do this workplace bullying course. Mm-hmm. You literally go assign, and you can now send that as an email and set a due date for your staff and say, everyone in our team needs to do this bullying harassment course by the end of the month. Click assign, enter in their emails, and you're ready to roll. And guess what? All of this is completely free. And that's why I'm here this morning, because I don't want to sound like a Dano's direct salesman, but what I'm trying to say to you is that there's no catch. It's free because we've partnered with the Queensland Government because we want to see small businesses using this. We started off as a Logan small business in a basement about 100 meters down from where I am right now. And this is our one way to be able to make a difference. This is a project that my entire team's gotten behind, because giving them a sense of purpose around a project like this has been really powerful for my team in terms of morale. So it's why I'm here this morning, because I'm keen to be able to see people use it, and I'm keen to be able to see people get benefit out of it.
So if we upload our courses, if we do that, what's the time period, just looking at risk, and I know there's going to be a good answer to this, but like how long do we have access to this before this ends? Yes,
so right now it is available till the end of the year, but I will put it to you this way. We're hoping that we will be able to, because what we're offering here is it's costing the government not very much money to be able to do, and it's costing, and And what we're trying to do is we're trying to do it in a way that provides benefit to the community. So we're hoping that we'll be able to extend this over time, just between everyone on this call. I know it's been recorded, but between everyone on this call, we hope that this 6-month pilot, due to uptake, due to usage, and due to the benefit people are getting, that it's a no-brainer to extend this and provide this for a longer term to small businesses all across the state.
I have a show of hands, those that see some value in this. I know we've only got a small amount of people, but just I want to see how many people see some real value and will actually go and do a course. Because really what I wanted Vu to be talking about was how cool it is to go in and actually do some of these courses. Because I personally, I'll tell you, hand on heart, the moment I got access to it, I sent a message to the guy, the guy that desperately needed it. That was the very first thing I did. The second thing I did was sign up and do 2 courses. I absolutely loved it. And I did courses on stuff that I am one of the experts at, and I still learned stuff. Not sure I'll use the stuff I learned, but it was so in-depth and it was so good that I really found it really, really useful. So the Learning Hub, like for yourself, guys, get in and have a crack at this, start to see it. Vu, you mentioned that there was this ability that, if you wanted a 0-1, you had some feedback. Where do you provide that feedback? How do we talk
100%.
to you guys?
Yes, so we have over 100,000 courses in our library. Now, the reason why there are only 500 courses available at the moment is purely because we just don't want to overwhelm people. We want to focus on some core categories and give people access to that. But we can pull from our library. So that 0 course you saw before was not there 4 weeks ago. And what we had was a whole group of people from, I think it was Bundaberg. It's from Bundaberg. A whole bunch of small businesses actually filled out the form. I'm pretty sure they coordinated it and said, let's just send in 3 or 4 requests for 0. You know what? Literally the next day, we put in 0. And so as a result of that, what you've got here is when you do create an account and you do sign in into the Skills Hub itself, if you click on the link here that says let us know, it'll take you straight to the feedback form where you just put your email address and just say, hey, I'd love to see more training on, I don't know, Microsoft Excel or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And my 2 cents is if it exists, we'll find it for you and we'll add it back into the system. The reason why we want to know your email address is so we can email you and tell you, hey, guess what? It's in there. We've added it. Now, the thing for me is this is one of those things where people can vote with their feet. The more they're using it, the more likely it is to be available for an extended period of time. Yes, it's only available for 6 months at the moment, but I'm confident that we'll be able to make this available to small businesses on an ongoing basis if we can get the uptake and usage that we can have and show the benefit that we're providing to the small business community.
So I can see there's quite a few people on that I know that are real networkers. We've got Robert Gutierrez, we've got Helen Cowley, Carolyn Ferrando, Buzz Bean, Sandra Jamie's on. So there's actually quite a few people on that. Guys, take this and share it. Let everybody know. Use it yourself. But before you use it yourself, share it with somebody else, because the more the people that take this up, the better chance we have of extending this trial. And this is, I'm kind of lost for words. This is so stupidly cool.
And what I want to tell you is that, so I'm in Stewart's Bakery, as you can see from the URL I'm on at the moment, right?
Yep.
If at any point you have any troubles or you're trying to work out how to set yourself up, the first thing is that on the dashboard here, there are links straight to a whole bunch of videos and training materials on how to get started, how to set it up, how to get people enrolled, how to start creating courses and managing them. But the other side of it for me is that there's a little chat bubble on the bottom right-hand side. If you launch your own portal, you can talk to our support team 24/7, search our support articles. And what we're looking to do is if we can get enough people launching their own portals, we'll happily run live webinars like we're doing at the moment to actually get people started as well. So what we're looking to do is to see the uptake, but we're happy to be able to make sure you get there and using it. Our thing is about having engaged people who are getting benefit out of the system.
So how are you guys going to be measuring benefit? Like, do we rate the courses at the end, or the benefit that we've got, or give some sort of testimonial? How do we get this information back to the Queensland Government?
So my 2 cents that it comes back to is just use it. I know that sounds simple. Just use it. We can see how many courses are being done. We can see how people are using.
Oh no, you can see I failed the first one.
Yes, I can. No, I can't see that. But what I can see, what I can see is go. You know what? We've got in Logan, we've got this many companies that are using it.
Yep.
And therefore it's important that we maintain it for the people of Logan. We can also see the fact that actually it's not just this many companies. We've seen that this many companies are also training their staff. So it's not just the benefit for the staff, for them, but for the staff as well. So for me, this is a project that's very close to home for me on several fronts. But the most important ones is that we came from a small business, and I still count us as a small business,
Yep.
even though we have a few hundred staff. We are a small business. And I see this as a means of evening the playing field between large business, people who choose to work for a large business versus people who choose to start their own business, versus people who choose to work for a large business versus people who choose to work for a small business.
Yeah.
As a small business owner, but more importantly, as a small business employee, I don't think I should be disadvantaged by choosing to work for a small business. And the flip side of it for me is every single course you see at the moment is being used by Australia and indeed some of the world's largest companies.
Yeah, right. That's
So
very
we're
cool.
evening the playing field by saying, you know what, this course that is good enough for the likes of ANZ or Delta Airlines should be good enough for Paul's Bakery.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And in fact, how do we give them access to that exact same stuff? And so, as I said, we've got a large library, and if you want more courses, if you want particular topics, please provide that feedback so that we can then actually make the case to be able to actually share, get more courses added. And it's not hard. It doesn't cost anyone any more money to get more courses added to the system. We just need to know that the demand is there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. When I first logged in, I will say I was struck by a little bit of overwhelm. When I first went to university, I did a Bachelor of Science, way back. This was when they were still using tablets and they were stone. It was a long time ago. And there were over 400 courses to choose from for first year Bachelor of Science. And it really was such a ridiculous overwhelm. Like how the hell do you know what to choose? And so when I first logged into this, I saw there was a lot more than 500 courses. I think when you first started, there was something like 30,000, and I've just lost. I eventually picked one and just jumped straight in. But I love the fact that they're now curated down to the nuts and bolts that we need, so that there isn't that indecision of choice, just too many choices.
And we can build on it over time. And I think that's the important thing to understand. I am aware of time, Stuart, but I did want to share one other thing with you, which isn't directly related, but it is important to our community.
Yep.
I want to share with you that as part of this, we actually also launched a project for Queensland Government, which looks very similar, but it's actually aimed at job seekers and those whose work is affected by, whose employment has been affected by COVID-19. So this is available to any Queenslander, full stop, who is looking for work or whose job has been affected by it. And this is called skillsfocus.com.au. And so anyone can create an account on this. And so this is aimed at job seekers. So whereas QLDskills.com.au is aimed at small business owners, Skills Focus is aimed at job seekers. And
Skills Hub and Skills Focus. That's where I was getting. I thought there was two.
Yes.
And I was going to ask you about that. So right. Skills Focus is really basically every Queenslander.
Every Queenslander, and it's focused on skills for jobs, right?
Yep.
And so at the end of the day, and this is what happens when you log in and create a free account on Skills Focus, you'll see that this is categorized a bit differently. So job preparation skills, so CV writing, interview skills, accounting and finance, programming skills, hospitality skills. So what we've done is we've actually curated a completely different library for job seekers around some of these employee sort of skills. And what we've done is we've curated that specifically for Queensland job seekers. And again, this library will grow over time as well. And this is available to any Queenslander, again, free of charge. It's fully accessible. You just need to sign up with an email address. And what that allows you to do is to be able to get access to this training, to be able to upskill. So if you know anyone, or if you're in contact with anyone who is looking for skills, but they're not a small business owner, this is the pathway they can go down. Now, this is equipped with about 400 courses off the top of my head. Now, what's really interesting for me is when you do launch your own portal, right, for your own business, and this is why I'm showing you both of them.
Yeah.
It actually combines the courses from both portals into your own business portal.
Oh.
So what does that mean? If you're a hospitality business, all those hospitality skills courses that were in Skills Focus are actually now available in your own business's portal as well. So I'm just throwing it out there to say
That's totally brilliant.
If you launch your own portal for your business, you'll get access to not just the small business owners courses, but actually the courses that are aimed at workers as well, which is really, really important.
Wow, this is the free steak knives, isn't it? This is, but wait, you'll also
but
get.
Wait, there's more. That's it.
That is stupidly cool.
That's all I've got at the moment. But
no, hey, stop now. So we do a lot of stuff with the junior chamber, and these are young. They're still at school, and they're looking to go into entrepreneurship and run their own business. I think would they be allowed to use Skills Focus?
100%, because they're someone who is actually looking to upskill themselves for work.
Yep.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's anyone who is actually whose work is affected, who's looking for work and wants to upskill for it.
Yep.
And so at the end of the day, it covers a whole bunch of different skills. But I would sit there and I would go, it's available to any Queenslander who is looking for work or looking to upskill themselves for work purposes. Right.
Yep.
And then the flip side of it for me is the Small Business Skills Hub is available to any Queensland small business with less than 20 staff and an ABN.
Yeah. Now, you guys don't actually write the courses, do you?
No, not a single one of them. And that's really important because I'm not the expert on job preparation or accounting skills or whatever it might be.
I'm sure you're the expert on all of them because you've done all the courses. So let's just assume that's the case.
But you raise a really good point. Think of us as Spotify versus Netflix, right? Netflix actually create their own movies now.
Yep.
But if you think about Spotify from a music point of view, their job is to bring it all together into one place, but their job isn't to create the music.
Yeah.
The reason why we've been able to grow so fast as a company and do what we do is because we don't create content.
Yep.
What we do is we try and find the best providers and put them into one place.
All right. Personally, I one of the courses I did, there was one of the technical courses, and there was a couple of things that weren't quite right, but I wasn't sure how to provide feedback. Is that possible with
yes.
some? I know because I know, like, how do you handle that? Like if a course, certainly in the IT industry, things change pretty quickly, and so if you find a course that doesn't quite match or zeros change something and the button's not where it says it was, but you found it. Is there a way to provide feedback on that sort of stuff?
Yep. So you can through that chat bubble in the bottom right-hand corner. But what we would do, and this is really important, we would be escalating that to the person who created the training. So
yes.
Let's say, for example, it's Microsoft Learn that created the course on PowerPoint.
Yep.
We would be pushing back to Microsoft Learn and go, guys, we've had some feedback that this course isn't up to date. Would you be able to update it, or should we remove it from the library? And it's really important because our job is to be that intermediary, but not necessarily judge, jury, and executioner. And
yeah, for sure.
The reason why is so that we can make sure we get the right content for the right people.
The reason I bring that up is just to point out that, as you say, you're the Spotify. You don't like the song, you don't have a go at Spotify. You go at the artist. You go for the But Spotify might inform the artist that there's been a comment.
And the thing that I love about this sort of stuff is you vote with your feet, right? The way that it works is that if you're the top Microsoft Excel course in our system, it's usually because most people are doing it and it's highly relevant to people. But it also works the other way as well. Yeah.
I'm going to wrap up now because it is right on 8:30. Is there anything? I have a question from Melissa. Is there any thing like a certification, a statement of attendance completion issued once you've done the courses?
Really good question, and I'm aware of time, so I'll do it very quickly. So Melissa, we aren't an RTO. We don't look to compete with TAFEs or RTOs because they play a very important role in our education system. So in terms of a certification, in terms of getting a certificate or a diploma or a degree out of it, that's not what we do. The flip side of it is that there is a record of attainment, a record of completion. So under my account, if I view my profile, I haven't completed any courses in here, but if I have completed them, you'll be able to download a learning transcript and you'll be able to add that to your CV in terms of the courses that you've done. So very good question, and that's how it works there.
That's brilliant, mate. That is brilliant. Sorry, man, I'm getting all emotional because when it makes such a difference to people's lives, this is such a great result. If someone wanted to chat to the course creator, is that possible?
Not at this point in time. We don't have a means for that at the moment, but we're happy to, I guess, forward through the request and your details and have them reach out to you. That's just purely just around the fact that we've got about 3 million users, and you can imagine what would happen if a content creator got inundated with requests. So as much as we want to make sure we take care of our customers, we want to make sure that we escalate appropriately to our content providers as well.
That's very, very cool. I'm going to wrap up now, and I will keep an eye on any last minute questions that anyone's got. But this has been fantastic because, as I say, it is a thing of hope. It is that idea. Vu, just one more time. So it's QLD Skills Hub.
It's qldskills.com.au is the actual website itself.
QLDskills.com.au.
And skillsfocus.com.au.
And skills focus. Can you just type both of those into the chat window for me there so that people can just go straight to them? And I'll make sure that we include that in the transcript when we put this thing live so that everyone can get access to it. Oh, look at him go. You're so quick. Wouldn't expect anything less. So as I said, this is part of the webinar series. It's an ongoing series. And look, we are coming to the wrap up. So next week, we wanted to do the wrap up at the end, but with Tom being not available till the 2nd of September, the wrap up will happen next week. So I'm going to invite as many presenters back as I can with as many questions. It's going to be a free for all. It's going to be fun. This whole series has been fun. It's been great to be the MC for it and to actually help businesses in this time and see. One of the things that came out again last night was that Logan hasn't been doing it. We've been doing it tough, but we always do it tough in Logan. And so for us, it's just another day, and we have done some great stuff. In fact, Vu, I know 4 businesses that have actually opened their doors during this period. They've opened shops, they've opened restaurants because they see an opportunity and they're willing to take it.
I had a conversation with someone saying we're more battle hardened than most. So we've got a bit more fuel in the tank when it comes to resilience than most. And I mean that sincerely.
I 100% agree. And when the ABC wanted me to tell them how bad things were in Logan, I had to say, look, yeah, it's been tough, but it's always tough and we're thriving. All right. I do want to thank our committee. They all volunteers. They all help out wherever they can. And our next event is actually, other than a webinar, is our golf day on the 11th of September. We are having a golf day. So it starts with David Peake from the Institute of Management and Leaders for Australia and New Zealand. He's going to come and speak to us at breakfast starting from 7. And then, so you can come just to the breakfast, and then golf will kick off at 10. And at this stage, I'm actually hoping that we're going to have a hole-in-one, a car to give away. Vu's got to go. So thank you so much, Vu. Man, thank you. Just totally brilliant. Everything that you guys do, we really, really appreciate it. So you head off. And of course, I do want to thank our sponsors, the Logan Office of Economic Development. Jamie's taken off, but they do great work in the city. Invest Logan 101 FM, the Meadowbrook Golf Club, Golf Day. Make sure you get your tickets because it is a limited amount of people that we can get onto the course and for breakfast, and Rebel 90.5, The Breeze. And of course, our fabulous Christmas functions at IKEA. IKEA do great stuff in the community with schools and all sorts of stuff. That's it from us. We will be back next week with a big wrap up and then follow that off with the franchising series. Stay safe. Have a fabulous day. I'm going to stop the recording now.